Liam Lawson has been impressive during his two-race stand-in spell for Daniel Ricciardo, which slowly solidifies his claim for a permanent F1 seat next season. This is bad news for the popular Honey Badger, on top of the already bad luck he has had this season with the unfortunate injury at the Dutch Grand Prix. So could Liam Lawson overtake him on the spot at AlphaTauri, or will the Kiwi driver not deliver what is expected of him? Scuderia, AlphaTauri and Red Bull find themselves facing a big problem, if I may put it that way, but rest assured it's a good problem to have. With Liam Lawson stepping in for Daniel Ricciardo following his injury at Zandvoort, the performance of the New Zealander has been truly commendable. Personally, I always believed Lawson possessed extraordinary talent and was destined for Formula One, and he has demonstrated this on a few occasions now, gathering widespread belief in his skill and rightful place in F1. However, the problem now arises within the Red Bull and AlphaTauri families, renowned in the F1 community over the years for producing exceptional drivers. And with Ricciardo still recovering and predicted to return around the Qatar Grand Prix, there's a question of what to do with both him and Lawson. Red Bull and AlphaTauri have pledged their support for Ricciardo's recovery, stating his reinstatement once he's fully fit. But what if it was not the right choice? Considering Lawson's recent performances, though limited to 2 races, his P11 finish at Monza speaks volumes. And while he didn't secure points, it showcased promise, as AlphaTauri's best this season has been a P10, attributed to Yuki Tsunoda, who's having a standout year himself. So this puts the team in a tricky position. The question now is, could Lawson potentially replace Ricciardo on a full-time basis in 2024? It would be surprising if Yuki Tsunoda wasn't retained at AlphaTauri, given his strong performance and Honda's support and financial contribution to Red Bull makes it logical to keep him. As for Ricciardo, his position for the next year isn't guaranteed, despite Red Bull having an option on him. So this means that Ricciardo and Lawson are likely competing for the same seat. Red Bull is known for immersing a driver in the deep end of F1, and Zandvoort was Lawson's turn to sink or swim. His substitution for Ricciardo wasn't about making headlines, but rather taking a promising initial step towards proving his readiness over this series of races. A year ago, Lawson wasn't deemed ready for an AlphaTauri seat, and Red Bull pursued other drivers. He was redirected to Japan for a pivotal year in Super Formula, an opportunity that aspiring F1 drivers often encounter. And while he was in the running to replace De Vries mid-season with Ricciardo, it wasn't his priority, so this positioned him on the periphery of Red Bull's F1 driver plans. While winning the Super Formula title would bolster his case, it won't be determined until late October. Lawson is currently 8 points behind the championship leader, and if current drivers Tsunoda and Ricciardo perform well and Perez doesn't leave Red Bull, Lawson's chances of securing a seat look slim, regardless of his performances until Ricciardo returns. For now, Lawson isn't just a spectator, but rather has a genuine opportunity to position himself at the forefront of Red Bull's considerations for 2024. As for Red Bull, they've maintained that Chico's seat is secure for the next season, but in Formula One, verbal commitments aren't always binding, and there's speculation regarding Ricciardo possibly replacing Sergio Perez, although the injury may have slightly complicated this scenario. Ricciardo nonetheless has been finding his footing in the car, indicating a positive trajectory. This situation prompts an array of possibilities. Should Ricciardo reclaim his Red Bull seat, potentially placing Lawson in AlphaTauri full-time? Alternatively, might Yuki Tsunoda be considered for the top Red Bull seat? The leap from AlphaTauri to Red Bull has historically been challenging, possibly affecting a driver's momentum and career. Another option is for Red Bull to eye Lando Norris, whose future has been linked with the team. Liam Lawson's current performance is turning heads and undoubtedly attracting interest from other teams. While he's part of the Red Bull stable, if a team desires a driver enough, they'll make it happen, and Lawson's rapid adaptation to unfamiliar machinery as a rookie is undeniably impressive, especially given the heightened pressure rookies face today owing to the high bar set by recent entrants like Leclerc, Norris and Piastri. Lawson's potential is palpable, confirming what many believed all along. So far, I'm quite optimistic and delighted to see Liam Lawson seizing this opportunity. I'm thoroughly impressed because, in my opinion, he's a driver who rightfully belonged in Formula One, even from the beginning of this year. Liam has consistently demonstrated his prowess, reaffirming his exceptional skills. Red Bull seems to have an abundance of highly capable drivers lined up at the moment, creating an exciting period for fans of the Red Bull AlphaTauri team. However, with the standards set so high, there's always a touch of apprehension when a rookie enters Formula One, especially one as highly regarded as Liam. There's a sense of urgency for them to make a strong impression right away, considering the scrutiny from fans and the media. Liam, though, seems tailor-made for this sport, continually providing his mettle, and his daring maneuver in Monza stands out as a testament to his comfort in the car, which is truly remarkable, executing such a move from so far back. It's evident that he's a natural at this, and these are the moments that truly resonate, the displays of audacity and skill throughout a race. Even if he hasn't started scoring points or doesn't have the best car yet, when he exhibits this level of confidence, it's exactly what fans crave. They appreciate an entertainer, someone willing to make bold moves, and thus far, Liam is a fantastic addition. Having an abundance of talented drivers is a fortunate predicament. It's a selection dilemma, and I'm genuinely intrigued to see how it unfolds. Personally, I'm eager to witness Daniel Ricciardo back in that AlphaTauri, as I'm curious to see what he can bring to the table. As for the Red Bull situation, it might take an interesting turn, but I'm not entirely convinced that Chico will lose his seat just yet. There are still doubts regarding Ricciardo's potential, which were anticipated to be dispelled during this half-season with AlphaTauri. And while it may not have a significant impact in 2023 if Ricciardo were to step in for an injured Perez, given Verstappen's dominant performance, he doesn't stand out as the standout candidate. This isn't to undermine Lawson, who has made an impressive start, but he needs to be challenged to see how he handles adverse situations on the track. How does he react when someone aggressively overtakes, causing minor damage to the car? And how does he manage a sluggish pit stop that costs him positions? The only way to expose him to these scenarios is for Red Bull to secure him a spot on the 2024 grid, and the two plausible options are his current seat at AlphaTauri and potentially at Williams, where Logan Sargent's future is uncertain. If Lawson lives up to the expectations, he could very well be alongside Tsunoda, potentially marking the conclusion of Ricciardo's full-time career, because I think there's little chance he'll have a full-time Red Bull seat in 2025 if he doesn't secure a spot on the 2024 grid. So taking the risk of placing a driver who hasn't had a full season since 2022 in the car doesn't seem justifiable. But Liam Lawson's impressive start to life in F1 has impressed the person that matters most, Red Bull's Dr. Helmut Marko. Lawson has been with us for some time, Marko said, and he is a true New Zealander, just like Denny Hulme and Bruce McLaren. He takes a tough but smart stance in battle. He really is a man for the future. He could have won points at Monza if his strategy had been good at AlphaTauri. Unfortunately, we have to note that. He certainly had the speed, and he really is someone for the future. Whether he will be in a car full-time or be a reserve driver in 2024, as we have already seen, things can move quickly, and we only have 4 seats. He has shown that he is good enough for Formula One, and now he has to confirm that in the coming races. Liam Lawson just needs to perform to the best of his abilities, feeling no pressure, because honestly, he has none. He was brought in as a replacement in the first place, and moreover, Ricciardo is the one who has no room for error when he comes back, because he is older than Lawson and cannot expect to continue to drive in F1 if he doesn't overachieve. Liam has a much easier job than him, because it's much easier to over-deliver when nothing huge is expected of you, and he just seems to always be very calm and composed, never getting overwhelmed by the occasion. And the occasion he faced for the first F1 race would have overwhelmed most rookies. Marko Helmut's comments mean that the first step towards a permanent F1 seat for the Kiwi driver has been taken. Let's see if the trend continues. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think Lawson should have a permanent F1 seat in the future? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.